Good day to all. Welcome to my channel, your channel, our channel, where our thoughts and opinions become clear under the sun's view. Let's have an enlightening discussion, please, without the thunder. I do hope all are well or all are getting well. If not, I send the sun's light to warm and brighten your day. I do understand these times may bring forth more stress, and it seems that there is no room for duress. But continue to live and do what you must as the time still moves from dawn to dusk. I have already posted the Our Language segment. Please, you can go ahead and listen and give your feedback, like, share, or subscribe if you desire. I want to start off first with the most interesting topic or the most interesting thing that has taken place, and it would involve the young lady who has confessed of her inclination towards women and having relations with individuals of her same sexual orientation. It's quite interesting. Why? We as a people, I guess we all have various dispositions, and there are situations and circumstances that may help to either build, break, or balance how we live our lives. And for her personally, I don't know how much of what she has truly been through. I guess going through any type of challenge that a young person goes through, it does, to understand, it does and will have an impact on them throughout, if they are not strong, their lifetime. Okay, so do understand that some of the decisions that they will make, some of the choices, the areas that they will venture into may not be something that is customarily, the morals of society, or that society would readily accept. But nonetheless, it is their choice based on previous occurrences. Okay? What I wouldn't want is the deception. For example, do not be a man and come to me as a woman. Do not be a woman and come to me as a man. Be what you are. Do not deceive. There's no giving me a bag with a cat in there and telling me there's a dog in there. That's deception. Okay? If you can make a choice, or if you have made a choice, hopefully this is something that you have sat down and thought through carefully, somehow understanding the repercussions of this decision. Right? Just be who you are. Why does one need to be deceptive? Why the deception? The deception comes from various other things. There cannot be any honesty and truth in deception. There cannot be any honesty and truth in lies. Okay, so she has come forth. She has made her say in what she has chosen, the lifestyle that she has chosen. My issue is don't cover that up under the umbrella of something that would not have necessarily entertained that had they known otherwise, or had it been presented otherwise. So if you're a Rasta, you're a Rasta. Right? If you're a Christian, you're Christian. You're in the public domain, people are looking either up to you or down to you, whichever it may be. So people are hoping that you're either going to be an example or set an example. It, so that's that's my most interesting event or thing that took place. The confession of this young lady on her sexual orientation. Okay? That is her fetish. That is what she desires. Fine. Just don't be deceptive. So, I wanted to just discuss, not much, as I do still want to keep my posts as short as possible. A tree. There are things, everything I believe, and I speak again about the balance. I think there is an absolute balance in everything. And I also do believe, and I would prefer to have the variety. They say variety is the spice of life. I am up for the variety. I can't imagine a place where there's only rum and raisin ice cream. I would not take part. I would not eat ice cream if that were the only option. If that was the only choice. There were no other choices. I would not have it. Because I don't like it. It's not to my taste nor satisfaction. Okay? So I do believe in variety. It amplifies. It enhances. And it somehow adds to the whole experience and adventure that life should be. But all things done in moderation. And I guess out of moderation, gluttony, I guess that is expected as well. Okay? You can't, everything has its place and its order and its frame. If you think of a person trying to plant a tree in the ocean, it can't work. It just cannot happen. You have to plant a tree on the soil, on the fertile land, right? That's the place for it. That is where it should be done. And you can try it if you think it's not so. Try to plant a tree in the ocean. So, how did we get to this place where we are now? All this distortment, all this confusion, all this displacement. How did we get here? We can look back, just take a step back and just look, just observe. The schematics, the human body itself, if you look at it and you observe it, it speaks, it says a whole lot. You got your eyes to see, your ears to hear, your nose, your mouth, your hands, your feet. Everything was built for a specific purpose, and it's built in a specific way. It has, to me personally, a balance. No one eats through their ears. No one tries to see through their mouth. Okay? We're all using the specific thing for its specific function, other than those who wish to try something outside of the box, the circle, the square, the entire shape and form of things. And even when they try it, there is nothing that they can say that this is right. No. You cannot try to eat through your ears and tell me after you've tried it that it's something that can be done. So moving forward, let's work with it that way. No. So if we observe our own body, our own just the simple schematics of our own self, we will see and understand that there is some type of balance. What's taking place right now? Technology, the air we breathe, the food we eat, the conversations we're not having, the conversations we have. It's all very crazy. Because for me, instead of creating some type of unity, it's creating disunity. Have you ever thought of like the words? And I'll always come back to words because for me, they're very, very prominent space. They take on a very different form in our everyday life, our everyday living. Words. Internet, technology, internet, the world wide web, cell phones. Have you ever thought, because when, let's say you're designing a product or you're going to start a company, the first thing you want to give it is a name, right? So you've created something, just like a child. You created that little life. The first thing you want to do is offer it a name, right? And many of us take this into deep consideration. So you want to think about what you're going to name. Either your new creature, your new pet, your new creation, your new company, whatever it is. The first thing you offer to it is a name. Okay? When they were creating the internet, who would have thought? Who came up with the term internet? Why the word net? We all would understand what a net is used for, right? A net is used to catch things, catch prey, catch. Why would they come up with the word and give it internet? Why not something more flourishing? What exactly was going through their thoughts and perceptions when they did that? World Wide Web. What is a web? It's something for catching prey. It's what spiders use to catch their food, catch their prey. Why use that term? Why give it that name? Then you have the cell phone. What is a cell? It's a place where you hold usually prisoners or someone or something that you don't want to escape. Why call it a cell phone? Because it's made up of cells? So the words and the names that we've offered to them, it gives food for thought for me. I don't think what we're seeing right now is any different from 100 years, 1,000 years, 1,000,000 years ago. I have persons who said to me, "Oh, so much has changed." No, I don't think so. I just think we're going through the cycle. We're just going through the cycle as we've always been, as mankind and Earth and whatever other domain that has existed has gone through the cycle. Just like how we have the cycle of humans. So you're born, can't help yourself, you learn, you grow, you do things on your own now, you've acquired certain knowledge, understanding, and you go through life and then you start to deteriorate, you get old, and you pass on. And then the cycle starts again. Birth, growth, pass on. So it's the same process, I think, is just taking place with life. Born, grow, pass on. I think we've reached a stage where we're fully grown and getting ready to pass on. Why? One, there isn't humans, there isn't another elevational level I see that we can go as humans without tapping out of ourselves. So we now have what is called the fourth industrial revolution. So we're in the fourth cycle of change. In this fourth cycle, it is the advancement or the greater advancement of technology, right? And with that advancement comes what? What happens to man? If technology is going to be the tool that does everything and is instilled within everything, then what would be man's great purpose in this cycle? Man doesn't have much to do with this cycle. Technology, man's creation, is going to be at the forefront. So little, very, very, very little input will be required from man. So that is why I say this life cycle is at the stage of deterioration and close to passing on. There is nowhere else to go for man. Man's thoughts cannot achieve anything beyond this. So even you can think as far as what? Flying cars, the man flying without a plane, man flying like a bird. All that has already been discovered. Probably not fully implemented, but it has already been discovered. So there's no thinking that man can think and say, oh, let's do this. Here's a great technological advancement that we can achieve. It has all been done. The next stage in this fourth industrial revolution is full implementation. The merger of man to machine. The confusion and the distortment that we are experiencing, and this is all, as I said, my thought, my view, my opinion. So all the confusion, the excess confusion that people would say, oh, the times have changed. It's because we're coming to a closing. We're closing in. Usually when you're building a fire, the first thing you have is the crackling. So with that little crackle comes the flame. But just before the flame, there is a smoke. So you have the smoke and then the flame. And then it burns so hot. And it burns and it burns. And that is where, because if you could manage the smoke, let's say you were to put your hand over it, you could hold your hand there while the smoke is there, right? But once it goes on, it gets hotter and hotter and hotter. And you can hold it no more. Your cup of pain is now full. It can go no further. There's nowhere else left for the pain to go other than to subside, to burn away. And to stop, to end, to finish, to complete. And in my view, that is where we are now. We're at the very end of things. Not the end of things that most people would think that, oh, the world is coming to an end. No. The world is not yet at its end. But man, in his aspirations, in his thoughts, in his conceivements, has come to an end. Man cannot think further. Man will not think further. It is now machines and technology that will be thinking further. The various apologies, the various movements we've seen, in my opinion, has been the entertainment, distraction. So, again, if you go back to the fire and you have your hand over the fire, do you know, or do you think that if there's somebody there coaxing you and talking to you and just trying to give you that little boost, that you may not feel the fire burning you as much as if you were paying full attention to it? Yeah, I've been in that position where you're in so much pain, but somebody's there laughing with you and you're chatting away, that you don't even realize the pain. But once they step away, once the laughter goes and the distraction goes, then you start to feel exactly what is taking place. And that's what has happened. There have been so many things to distract us from the fire, from the burning that has been taking place. Is it a good thing? In some cases, yeah. Because it helped to ease the pain. It helped you to transition. It helped you to pass through that moment of fear, despair. You think of going, let's say you want to walk 1,000 miles. If you walk that 1,000 miles alone, you may turn back at some point. But just get 5 good friends. You finish that 1,000 miles without even realizing it. It's the joy, it's the entertainment, it's the fun, it's the conversation. It's the humanness. It's the human intervention that helped to pass the time, that helped to bring light to the moment, that made the journey bearable. Funny enough, it's the same human intervention that can make that journey unbearable as well. So, as much as we don't need each other, we also need each other. I'll go back to say it's all a cycle. These are just passing times. And it's going to come to an end, and it's going to start over. How do I know this? Why do I think this? In the Bible, all these things were taking place. All these, distortments, just like we're having now. Moments of confusion, just like we're having now. Tables turning like crazy. Things happening that God Himself said, listen, this cannot continue. This must stop. Sodom and Gomorrah. And it ended. Why it ended? Because it came to a breaking point where man simply, all that man was conceiving and doing was just detrimental and was not sustainable further to life. Life could not further be sustained, so it all had to collapse. In the Bible, it says, go and replenish. The word replenish means to do again. Replenish. It doesn't say go and plenish. It says replenish. And if it is that man is to go and replenish the earth, it simply means that there was a destruction. And you can find that 9:1 verse 7. And God blessed Noah and his sons and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. Because there was a flood, and the flood destroyed man, destroyed all living things except Noah and his sons and their wives. So in the Bible, and it's the King James Version, Genesis 1:28, it says, God tells Adam and Eve to be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. And the word replenish in the King James Version, which means fill, do again, it's, one would ask, why use the word replenish, which means to do again? Why not plenish, since as that was the very first time that the earth was being? No, that's also something that I don't agree with any at all. And the Creator Himself, I don't believe, could come down and explain to me how time and before time is that man has always come out of woman, and woman has always come out of woman. So the process of creation, birth, growth, it all comes out of woman. So it goes through woman, comes out of woman. So it's always going through her. It has to pass through her. So it goes, it's man, it passes from man to woman, and it comes through woman. So the final product, the final life form comes through her, just like earth. You plant the seed into, and it comes out through. So of course there indeed has to have been some divine intervention. So we do, in fact, and I would certainly believe we have creators, someone whom the seed was planted into and came through. But they don't want to tell you the full story. I don't know why. But it's so fascinating. It's so interesting. Why would they want to keep it a secret? Why would anybody want to keep it a secret? To prevent chaos and confusion, maybe? Possibly. So, as I said, it's all a cycle that we're going through. This is all a cycle. And the cycle will continue over and over and over again. All the distortments and confusion that's taken place, it's all a part of the cycle. And it's winding down. It's winding down because man has reached their ultimate conceivable predominance. Man in his thought can go no further. So, a flying car, a disappearing car, going to the future, back to the future, it's all been done. It's all been done, and it's been done not necessarily in the physical manner, but it's already been done in thought. They say once you can think it, you can achieve it, right? So the fact that man has already thought every single thing there is possible to think, there is nothing else left to think. We've reached the ultimate line. We're at the finish line of thought. The only thing that can come from here is implementation. Right? And after implementation can only come fixation? I don't think so. After implementation can only come destruction. Because the depths of thought and idea that man has, there simply cannot be a fixation. There has to be a fire. Fire has to be placed, so there has to be destruction. And once destroyed, reborn, rebirth, replenish, multiply again and do it all over, start all over from the beginning. And let's see how it goes again. And it's going to go back through the same cycle. Nothing changes. Nothing changes. So be not dismayed. This is just the time for exactly what it is the time for. Revelation. It's an apocalyptic era that we are now in. The Dark Ages. The Dark Ages were a time when information was hidden. It was the Dark Ages. Man did not have access to the things he has access to. And even now that man has access to information, man still doesn't take advantage of the information that he has access to. It's weird. It's very weird. But it is what it is nonetheless. Interesting time. And again, we will go back to words. Live. L-I-V-E. Live. L-I-V-E is pronounced live. And it's also pronounced live. So it's live and live. But if we rearrange those words, we also get evil. And we also get vile. Wouldn't you say these times we live are times of very, what appears to be vile and evil thoughts and actions of man? And they're live. The thoughts, the actions, they're live. Very much live. They're not dead, they're live. So live, live, vile, evil. Who came up with these words? Were they not thinking? Of course they were. They're very intelligent. People who came up with these words are maybe extraterrestrial, in my view. Why? They have to be some very, very well intelligent beings to have concocted all this. Words, numbers, the entire system of things. I simply couldn't imagine the schematics. How it would look, right? But it is what it is. It is what it is. As I said in one of my previous posts, that our words, what we say, how we say it, how we pronounce it, it's magical. It's all magical. We're making potions, concoctions, pronouncing, sentencing, spelling. It's all magic. Isn't it fascinating? We're all mages. We're all magicians and sorcerers. Don't even know it, do we? Maybe we're not. Maybe we are. And We are creating, as I said, our own sentences. We are pronouncing our own sentence. We are concocting our own potions. We're consuming the potions of other magicians. We're waving our wands and we're writing our magic wands and we put them to paper and we book it. We write it down, put it down, place it down. Well, we'd ask the question, when will we live without the evil, vile nature of man? Kind, human, kind? Never. Never. If we are in fact replicas of our creators, if we are in fact images created in their own likeness, it would simply mean that this is exactly how we are to be. This is just exactly how we are to be. So we're to be evil, we're to be vile, good, bad, funny, strange, creative, just utterly unique. Because when the Creator created, He said He looked. And it was good. It was wonderful. It was beautiful. He did a good thing. They did a good thing. What did they pour into our hearts and soul? Their own desires. Their own desires. So our creators must have been desiring love, desiring acceptance, patience, truth, honesty. They must have been desiring deception, lies. This is all them. If we are truly what we are, then this is also who they truly are. Why would we be exempt? They poured out. They did the creating. And they taught. They gave us. Because we could not have known without a teacher. We could not have known without a teacher. So this could possibly be our balance. So I say, go forth. Be who you are. Deception is in your heart and your soul. That is a part of the pouring. Just be who you are. Those who have eyes to see will see, and those who have ears to hear will hear, and those who have feet to walk must walk. If you have hands touch, well, that's going to be a problem because these are socially distancing times for health reasons and for the good of humanity, for the good of all. We should sanitize. Don't physically socialize. Keep our distance. Show no emotion. Keep your mouth and nose covered. Speak no evil. Communicate only through technology. So get virtual, become virtual, and merge with the system, merge with technology. Take part in the fourth industrial evolution, if you must. As I've said in many of my other posts, that I'm a movie lover. Sorry. I'm a movie lover. I love movies. I've watched so many movies, oh my goodness. But I'm more a fan of the mystical, the dystopia, the magical, the fairy tales, the drama, the adventure. Especially when it's got a mixture of all those things, it's even better. I used to, as a teenager, as a young child, enjoy horror movies and horror books. So I've read many a horror book, and I eventually, I think after entering into I eventually would have let go of horror books and horror movies. Never had much for the romantic movies, romantic books. I think they all played out the same. I remember going to school and friends would be reading Mills and Boons. And I remember one day I took one of the book and I took it home. My friend was an avid reader of these books, lent me one of the books to read. I was always reading horror books. And I went home. I was like, let's try it. I read like the first 3 pages of the book and realized the book wasn't going anywhere. Skipped a few pages, ended up like in probably the middle of the book. Read about another 2 pages into the center of the book. Realized the book still wasn't going anywhere. Then I read the end of the book, like the last page of the book, and realized that the book didn't go anywhere. There was no mystery, there was nothing for me to solve, nothing for me to look forward to but the same thing. So I was never, because there was nothing of interest to me there. Still, I have no interest in romance movies nor romance novels. I like to keep my mind challenged, and romance somehow, and romantic books somehow does not do that. Doesn't accomplish that desire. Right? And I would eventually stop reading horror books. There was a movie that would come out by, I think it's Stephen King, called It. I've not watched the movie. I have not watched the movie because, as I said, I was a very avid horror reader, and I've read many horror books from Stephen King. So I know his mastery in that area. And for that specific reason, I was not inclined to even touch it. Right? So, the it, and if you go and do your own whatever research or so forth into that, you would observe when it was released. And when the pandemic, when this crisis started in 2020, it was, I've never heard it, the word it, referenced so much. We will all catch it. I don't want to catch it. What is it? He has it. She has it. Who does not have it? And I thought it was so fascinating. I thought it was so interesting. But that still didn't give me any inclination to watch the movie. And I still to this day have not watched the movie It and will not watch the movie It. I am already living through it. See what I'm saying? Right. So, we are experiencing it. We are all experiencing it. I hope I would like to hope that we will get over it and move on. Possibilities still exist, as I said, where they've poured out their desires. So we do have the desire for hope and a brighter outcome, a brighter outlook as well. And for movies, again, another movie I just watched, and the movie is called No Time to Die. No Time to Die. If you can watch it, watch it. It's, as with many movies I've watched, very, very, very fascinating, especially within these times, this moment of transition. We are transitioning. So that movie is a pretty good movie to watch, especially if you're Jamaican, if you're Jamaican, yeah. You would understand the whole James Fleming, James Bond, and the role played with Jamaica. And there is a scene in the movie that alludes to Jamaica. The flag, the Jamaican flag, or a portion of the Jamaican flag, like it was flying in the night, like the breeze was blowing it, and a street that looked like Jamaica, but then it didn't look like Jamaica, right? But yeah, if you get the chance to watch that movie, No Time to Die, watch it, right? See if you can enjoy, take away some of the distortments and confusion, and just laugh and smile and enjoy the movie. Okay? So, as I said, this is really just a breaking point that we've reached, and God, or the creators, or man, or human themselves we maybe are our own destroyers, our own destruction. Then life is recreated, and humans are again going to be asked to fill it again, do it again, replenish, start over, multiply. Let's get this party started, right? I wanted to touch on climate change. That's like a big thing right now, right? That's a topic of great interest. I'll get into that another. I am back. So climate change that I wanted to touch on. I'll touch on that on another post. I do want to touch on a word that's also a part of conversations going on right now, and it's alias.